Welcome to our webinar here today for our master's degree in computer science at Ball State University. We're really excited about your interest in Ball State and our computer science program and what it has to offer. And so just a few housekeeping notes. The webinar is being recorded. After today's presentation, you'll get the slideshow and the presentation sent to you via email that you registered with. And so be on the lookout for that in a few days. If you have questions, please place those in the Q&A box. At the end of the slideshow presentation, we will have a Q&A session, but hopefully most of your questions will be answered throughout the duration of the presentation. But if not, feel free to direct those in there. We have Katie Davis, who's our wizard behind the curtain, who will try to keep up with those questions for you and answer them along the way. But if not, she will chime in with us at the end to bring some of those to light. And so we just want to make sure that we provide you with some great information about Ball State, about our computer science program, and hopefully be able to answer any questions that you have. So as we move forward, today's topics, again, we're going to talk about the Ball State and Coursera partnership and what we have to offer. We're going to go over the curriculum for the computer science degree, our innovative performance-based admissions practices, what Ball State has to offer for you, and then program costs. Along with that, we will talk about our 2025 registration deadlines as well as fall, and then again, the Q&A session. But to start, my name is Jeremy Johnson. I am the Student Success Specialist that works directly with the Master of Science and Computer Science students, and I work with Ball State Online. Dr. Tonksale.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Vinayak Tinsale, and I'm an assistant professor in computer science at Ball State University. I'm also the director of graduate programs for the Master of Science in Computer Science, and we are happy you're here today.
Thanks, Dr. Tonksale. So a little bit about Ball State and our Coursera partnership. Coursera is one of the world's largest online education platforms. It really brings education to the people, and that's worldwide. And so we really want to make sure that education is accessible and affordable. And so the partnership was launched to help increase our course section availability and expand our course offerings. And so one of the perks of the program is that in terms of seat capacity, classes never fill. And so classes will continue to be open. And so we can allow as many people as we need to in those classes. And so it really makes it accessible for a lot of different folks. We are continuing to build our computer science curriculum, but you would be able to complete this degree in 2 years or less if you need to. And that's kind of my role, is to work with you as your student success specialist. And we'll touch on that a little bit more. But we're really wanting to make sure that you are getting a high quality, affordable education that's really going to help you meet your needs as a student. And so that partnership with Coursera has really helped us blossom our program into what it is today. Sally?
Here's a quick overview of the Masters in Computer Science program. We have what we call two different tracks. If someone has a degree in computer science or computer engineering or a closely related field, then the track that you will be on, what we call the advanced track, consists of 30 credit hours or 10 courses. Or if someone does not have a background in computer science, a bachelor's degree in computer science, computer engineering, or a related field, then we require you to take 2 extra classes to kind of get you ready for the master's program. So that adds 2 classes to your program, and then that track is 36 credit hours or 12 classes. So out of those 30 or 36 credit hours, depending on which track you are in, there are 4 to 6 classes, again, that are the core classes. And the reason it says 4 to 6 is, again, as I said, if you don't have a background in computer science, you take 6 classes. If you do, you take 4 classes. So that's why 4 to 6, but those are basically our core areas like cybersecurity, the data analytics, software engineering, and others. You are required to take 2 courses worth 6 research credit hours, and we have a few classes that we offer that are basically tagged as research classes. And there's a couple of other options as well that Jeremy is going to talk about today for the research credits. And then finally, we offer a variety of classes for you to choose from as your electives, be it artificial intelligence, machine learning, or again, other types of courses that we are offering at the graduate level through Coursera. The program, the classes are 100% online and completely asynchronous. So you can do it at your own time, at your own pace. You can start at any time during the year. Ball State offers classes on a semester schedule. So we have fall, spring, and summer. But again, you can start the program at the beginning of any of those semesters. So there's basically three points in the semester. And also there's a few options to that as well, which again, Jeremy and I will be talking about in the next few slides. As I mentioned, you don't need a computer science background. If you already have a background, then you take 10 classes. And again, it is designed for adult learners of all educational backgrounds and career experiences. Anyone who's looking to do a career change, maybe get more education to get a promotion in their current position, current job, and so on. Next slide, please. We also offer some, not all, but some of our classes are offered in what we call the open content format. This is almost like how you test drive a car before you decide to purchase a car. So this is where you could take a subset of the class, normally a third of the class. So one third of the class, uh, again, it is the actual course content. So you have a full entire class where we essentially take a subset of it and we offer that as open content. So that lets you try how the lectures are, what the content is in a class, what kinds of assignments, quizzes, those types of things that are going to be in the full-blown class. And the best part about that is if you decide to take the full class for credit, whatever you completed in your open content, let's say you completed the 5 quizzes that are part of the open content part of the course, those grades will basically get transferred over. So you don't have to redo that assessment. You don't have to redo those quizzes or projects. So anything that you do in your open content gets transferred over when you register for the full class, the full 3 credit hour class. As of right now, the introduction to programming, the data viz, and the cybersecurity and secure software design classes are offered in the open content format. And pretty soon we will also be offering the CS602, which is the data structures class, as well as the data analytics class, and eventually the artificial intelligence class in open content as well. But again, those three are not there yet, but they will be at some point through the next few months. Next slide, please. What are some of the benefits of open content? You can start again anytime. You can start right now if you choose to do so. Those open content classes are the enrollments are open on a rolling basis. You don't have to wait till the beginning of the semester. Those 3 semesters at Ball State. You can start the cybersecurity class right now, take the open content, go through it for 3, 4, 5 weeks, complete it. And if you think you want to take the class, you can register for that class come fall semester, and then all of your completed assignments essentially are transferred over, and you can continue on from that point from where you left off. It is, as I said, it is a subset of the class, so it is the same quality. It will be the same teacher, the same textbook, the same materials, even the assignments, as I said, in the quizzes get copied over. So everything is the same as far as quality goes. And also it gets you, again, a head start. You don't really have to wait until the beginning of a semester to get started with your classes. Those numbers that you see are for those 3 classes. So DS617 is the intro to programming, the CS647 is the cybersecurity class, and the DSCS605 is the data viz, the visualization class. Those are the 3 that are currently being offered as open content, and you can enroll in them today. Next slide, please. We also offer what we call credit for prior learning. Um, again, you are getting a Ball State degree. So there is the graduate school at Ball State that has certain rules that they have to follow for accreditation purposes and also to maintain the quality and for a variety of other reasons. So we do offer for flexibility credit for prior learning. There is, however, a limit of 9 credit hours or the equivalent of 3 courses. Most courses are 3 credit hours. So maximum of 9 of these prior learning credits can be counted towards your master's degree. Now, these prior learning credits could be Coursera certificates that you take. Again, we have a few to choose from, and those are listed on the website. And if you complete those Coursera certifications, which also, by the way, you can start at any time, you don't have to wait until the beginning of the semester. If you complete those Coursera certificates satisfactorily with a B or better, 80% or better, then you will get credit for academic credit from Ball State up to a maximum of 9 credit hours. Now, there is that acronym over here called PBA, which stands for performance-based admissions. And I know we haven't talked about that yet, but Jeremy is going to talk about that soon. So once we talk about that, we'll kind of tie it in together and explain to you what it means when we say these courses cannot count towards what we call the PBA courses. Next slide, please. So again, here's those list of Coursera. You can see down below over here, the list of Coursera certification. So just I'm going to pick one over here. If you complete the IBM Applied Software Engineering Fundamental Specialization that is offered through Coursera on Coursera and complete it successfully, then you will get, Ball State will give you 3 credit hours for CS669, which is, again, counts towards the 30 or 36 hours of your degree. And then there are, you can see there's a few other ones that are listed over here as well. One of these actually also counts as a research one. So the IBM AI Engineering Professional Certificate will give you credit for CS679, which counts as a research course. Because if you remember, you have to take 2 research classes, and one of them could be this particular certification from IBM. One of the more popular prior learning credit classes that a lot of students have taken is the Python for Everybody specialization that is offered on Coursera through, by the University of Michigan. And if you do complete it successfully, we will give you credit for CS601, which is that first class that you take, the programming class. And again, the stipulations are outlined over here that you can get up to 9 credits of prior learning credit, but no more than 6 hours of a combination of 669 and 679. So you cannot do, just to explain, you cannot do the first one here, the IBM Applied, and then maybe do 2 more that also count as CS669. The total number of credit hours between 669 and 679 is 6. The total you can transfer in for prior learning credit is essentially 9. So the only way to get to that right now is by doing the Python for Everybody specialization and 2 more of these Coursera certificates.
Yeah, a question that I normally get, Dr. Toxali, is if I transfer those credits in, does it show up that it's Coursera on my transcript? And absolutely not. And so just remember that you are getting a Ball State degree. What it will show on your transcript is that you did transfer in credit, but it's going to show up as that Ball State course. And another question about transferring, a lot of times people ask, what will my diploma say? It'll say, Ball State. It'll say your degree. It won't say anything about online. And so you are a Ball State student and you're getting all of the benefits of a Ball State student.
Next slide, please. The career opportunities, and again, most of you are probably familiar with this. The careers that we basically educate our students for are things like anywhere from a junior to a senior software developer, cybersecurity or a network or a systems engineer, full stack developers, back end, front end. We have a software engineering class. We have a full stack web development class. as I said, the information security analyst. We have a class on databases. We have a course on data mining. So database developer, database administrator. And again, we have, as I said, classes on software engineering and other classes that can help you be a better prepared software developer, quality assurance engineer, or any one of these related career opportunities. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Dr. Tongsale. And so we're going to talk a little bit now about our performance-based admission process. And so we understand that traditional admission processes don't meet the needs of today's learners. So when we're talking about test scores, transcripts, everything like that, that's really not needed for our PBA process. And so PBA, again, is performance-based admission. And so your work is your application. And so as we had mentioned, performance-based admission, there's no application or transcripts required. You complete 3 Ball State courses, and then if you earn a cumulative grade point average of a 3.0 or higher, you're admitted to the program. So when we're talking about your credit for prior learning, those certificates, yes, you can get credit for them, but they do not count towards your performance-based admission sequence. And so some people say, well, 601 is a PBA course that's listed on the website. That's true. But if you bring credit in there, there's really a lot of flexibility in the computer science program. So if you bring in credit for 601, that just means whatever 3 courses you take next, those are your PBA sequence courses. And so in those 3 courses, you just need to get a 3.0 or higher cumulative, and you'll be admitted to the program. There's no waiting. All the classes that you take count towards progress to achieving your degree. So it's not like these 3 classes are just kind of out there hanging, and if we get in, great. They don't count. If I don't get in, I've wasted my time. No, all of the classes that you take count towards your progress in earning your credential from Ball State. And as Dr. Tongsale mentioned, the program is set up for adult learners who have experience and who don't have experience. If you are looking for a career change, this is absolutely the program for you. You gain those foundational knowledge you gain that foundational knowledge in those 2 introductory courses to really make you successful in the program. I get a lot of questions about, well, is there a lot of math? I've never done a computer science before. That's okay. Dr. Tongsale and the faculty in the program teach you what you need to know in CS 601 and CS 602 to allow the foundation for your success. And as we'll talk about, there's a lot of support in the program. And so there is a lot of students that are working through PBA, and there's a lot of students who have been admitted, and those students are doing really well. And so there is a lot of support through the PBA process, and then once you get admitted, there is some really good support there. So how does PBA admission work? So again, there's no transcripts, there's no test scores, none of that stuff we need. So you'll complete a short registration form, and you pay per credit on the Ball State's website. And so you do have to pay tuition at the time of enrollment. During the PBA process, you're not eligible for federal aid. And so that's something to think about, employee tuition remission and other options if for your employer to speak with them. Cost right now is $489 per credit, plus a semester tech fee of $100. Once you've enrolled, you can enroll in 1 class, you can enroll in 2, you can enroll in all 3 PBA courses at the same time. That's really up to your discretion. If you are going to enroll in those 3 at the same time, please have a conversation with me. All 3 courses are required to complete the pathway. All right. And then once you've completed your 3 courses, you'll receive your grade. And if you have above a 3.0, you're admitted. You can continue to enroll. And so once that 3.0 or higher is there, you're admitted. So there's really no reason to wait to continue to enroll. And so if you think you're good, you continue to complete that registration form, pay your tuition at the time of enrollment, and we keep moving along in the program. There are safety nets along the process. Again, I'm your student success specialist. I'm there with you along the way to bridge the gap between Ball State and yourselves. And so I'm really there to provide support, to answer questions about the program, about courses where I can. Dr. Tongsale is really good about answering some of those questions relating to course content. And some of those things, maybe it's time management, maybe it's organization. Having those conversations really make sure that you're set up for success. Another big thing for fall and spring semesters, you have 1 week from the start of classes to drop your courses and receive a full refund. You know, education is costly, and so we want to make sure that you're getting what you need. And so if something happens and you get in coursage and you're like, I'm not sure if I can handle this, I'm not sure if I can balance two classes, I need to get out of one. As long as you do that in your first week, you'll get your full tuition back for that course or courses. For the summer, it's a little different because it is a shorter time span. Remember, fall and spring classes are 16 weeks long, whereas summer classes are only 10. You have until the start of the classes to receive a full refund. And so make sure that you're registering early, and that you get into those courses. Generally, at the start of the semester, you get early access to your courses. And so, especially during the summer, you utilize that week or two that you're in there early to really get it in there, look at the content, and make sure that's something that you think is manageable for your schedule. So for our recommended pathway courses, again, we have CS 617 or 601. Those are synonymous right now, but starting in the fall, it'll be CS 601. We have CS 602, which is degree structures and algorithms, and then DSCI 605, which is data visualization. Um, but as a reminder, any course in the MSCS program can count as a pathway course. And so if you bring in the University of Michigan's Python for Everybody specialization, that is perfect. You would just replace that with another course. So your 617 and 602 are core courses, and DSCI 605 would come in as an elective course. What's really good about 601/617 and DSCI 605 is if it counts for both the computer science program and the data science program. And so I have several folks who are like, I'm not really sure which one I want to do. Is there a way that I can, maybe try it a little bit and then decide? Absolutely. If you get in and you're like, I'm going to do computer science, and you take those two courses, you're like, you have a change of heart and you're like, I think I really want to do data science. Perfect. The two classes, 617 and 605, will count for both degrees. And so you're not losing any time or money there. Just know with the computer science program, all courses have a prerequisite, excuse me, most courses have a prerequisite of either CS 617 or CS 617 and CS 602. And so just make sure that you have an understanding of what those are. And that's kind of my role with you as well, is to kind of talk through those course selections and making sure that we're taking courses in a good sequence and setting up our duration in the program in a manner that you meet your desired graduation date. And so just making sure we have an understanding of the curriculum and the pathway is a big step in being successful. Some of the things that Ball State offers, we have some of the best faculty. They're engaged. They really support you throughout the program. And so you are being taught by Ball State faculty. The curriculum is by Ball State. And so the engagement there, inside of class, as well as outside of class, there's sometimes Dr. Tong Saleh is hosting an Ask Me session in a few weeks to really ask, for students who might have questions that are not related to course content. We have an email account that you can send. Maybe you have questions about course assignments. Your faculty and course instructors and myself monitor that. As your dedicated student success specialist, I can help you with a lot of things. Sometimes it's, I'm really not sure, how do I get my transcript? Where do I go to enroll? Or sometimes it's, Jeremy, I'm really far behind, I'm not sure what to do. And so we have those conversations of how do I dig myself out of that hole, whether I got sick, a family member got sick, work just overwhelmed me the last couple of weeks, and I really haven't had time to dedicate to my courses. Those are conversations we can have to figure out how we can get caught up. And if we can't, excuse me, have the conversation of what are our next steps to make sure that we can still be successful. You have access to all of our on-campus resources. And so if you ever needed the library, we are very good at virtual appointments. You can look up a lot of things and resources there. And you can meet with folks from the Career Center, Writing Center, Learning Center, and Disability Services virtually as well. And so even though you're an online student and you might not even be in the country, you can still access those services. We do have a Slack channel for student-to-student discussions, and that's really good to really talk about, what do I expect in CS 601, or can somebody talk to me about the assignments that are in 602 to see if I want to take that maybe in the fall rather than in the summer. And so that's a really good engagement with your classmates and course mates. Like we talked about, there's the email channel where you can, contact your instructors, your course facilitators, myself, to really help you answer your questions. And we do have a program handbook and online orientation that are sent to you to complete Your online orientation is mandatory. You don't get access to your course that first semester until you complete it. Um, and then meet with me. That is one of the bigger things is especially if you're going to start the program, let's have a short, 15, 20-minute conversation of kind of what to expect, how to set ourselves up for success, and really answering any of those questions you might have. Program costs, total program cost is less than 18,000, which for a master's degree is very, very affordable. Right now, the cost breakdown is $489 per credit, like we mentioned. And if you're taking 2 courses or less, it is a $100 tech fee. If you decide that you want to take 3 courses, it's a $150 technology fee. Again, talking about how am I going to pay for it? Many employers provide educational assistance, so make sure that you're talking to your employer to see if they offer any tuition remission programs. A summer registration is open as we speak. Um, Classes start May 12th, and you can register for summer through May 18th. And so even though it's after the start date, you can still enroll in summer classes. As again, the fall 2025 semester is 16 weeks, and that registration period will open on May 21st. So I will hand it over. Actually, Katie Davis, she will do our Q&A session here in a second. She is our enrollment representative here at Coursera. I'll leave her slide up for a little bit. She is my counterpart prior to you enrolling at Ball State. She can answer a lot of those industry credit, prior learning credit questions. She can walk you through the curriculum. She can walk you through any of those barriers. And so once you get enrolled at Ball State, I kind of pick up where Katie left off. And so we can really tag team that. Me and Katie talk a lot about the program. Her QR code is on the screen. So if you wanted to set up an appointment with her, kind of to go over what we talked about today, or if you have any other language questions that maybe don't get answered, she can definitely answer those for you. Katie is very, very fantastic. So Katie, I will hand it over to you.
Thank you, Jeremy. That's very kind. And yes, some of you I have probably talked to already, some of you I have not. But yes, if you have any follow-up questions about the program, or maybe want to talk more specifically about your individual situation, you're welcome to schedule a meeting with me using that QR code, and we can chat through any questions you have over the phone. Also, if you are planning to enroll in the summer, we can kind of talk through onboarding and next steps with that as well to get you ready. But yeah, thank you guys. We've had some questions in the chat that I think we should be able to maybe go through and answer if you guys are okay with that now.
Perfect.
Okay. All right, great. Well, one is kind of there's a few parts to the questions. So this is more so about course scheduling. If somebody begins a course at the start of the semester, can they finish it before the semester ends? And how are they able to kind of sequence their courses along with the academic calendar?
So, I mean, yeah, you can complete most courses earlier. Again, the absolute deadline is when the semester ends. You can complete all the work that is required for a class uh, anytime before that. It could be the first week, the first month, as long as everything's turned in before the semester ends. There is a specific semester end date. Uh, you're you are totally fine. The professor most likely will assign you a grade only after the semester ends, because that's when Ball State lets us post grades. So there won't be a grade assigned to you until the end of the semester. But as far as you're concerned, you can complete it. And notice that said for most of the classes. The reason I said most is because there is one class wherein there are certain things. It's a research class wherein you have to do peer reviews, and that's more on a time basis. Like it's a research, you write a research proposal, then you get a peer review from your peers, and then you complete, and as well as the professor, and then you write a research paper after that. Well, in those cases, sometimes you may have to wait for your peers to review part of your work. But then again, even in that case, you can ask the professor, hey, can you have a couple of students, ask them to go in and review my work because I want to wrap this up early. And almost all the time, the professor has obliged and done so. But again, that's one class, but almost, I think, all other classes, you can complete them as soon as possible.
Yeah, and to follow up on that a little bit, sorry, Katie. Um, you can finish courses early, but once you do finish those courses, you can either move on to some industry credit content, but you won't be able to start your next set of classes until the next semester. I know that's a little different for some other programs, but again, Ball State is on the semester timeline, and so you can only start classes at the beginning of a semester. I think another big thing about the program in terms of flexibility in courses, when you log into your courses, you see that there's going to be weekly deadlines. Those deadlines are there to help you complete the course in a 16-week fashion, and then they help you to stay on time. There are folks that get behind at times. They're like, I need to drop because I'm 4 weeks behind and I'm going to get zeros on the assignments. That's absolutely not true. For our program, you do not have a point penalty for submitting assignments late. And so if you do get behind, all is not lost. You can still catch up. It's going to take effort and it's going to take time, but you're not going to lose points because you submit an assignment late. And so, like Dr. Toxale said, you can finish early or you can finish right on time. And whatever happens from the start to the end, as long as you get everything done, you're still going to get the grade. Hopefully, if you perform well, you're going to get the grade that you need to keep on moving. We haven't talked about it yet, but in order for a course to count towards your degree, you have to make at least a C or higher, in order for that course to count towards your degree and to graduate. And so when I say flexible, there's lots of opportunities for this program to be flexible for you, because we know that life happens. Someone gets sick, an animal gets sick. Again, like I talked about, job, just blows up and you're 2 weeks behind and everything. There's a way to get around that. And that's kind of why I'm here as your student success specialist. Your faculty are there for you. And so really reach out to us and utilize us as resources to help you manage that.
That's a great point. Yes, thank you. And along that same line, what would be the typical amount of courses you would suggest students register for every semester?
For me on my side, and Dr. Tom Slally, you can feel free to chime in as well. I think it really depends on your comfortability level, one, with online learning. If you've never done online learning before, I think it's important to kind of start slow because it's a little different, making sure that you have the time management and the organizational skills to be successful. We have folks who are doing one course at a time, and then we have folks that take more. So obviously during your first semester or two, you're going to have to go slow because you have to complete your performance-based submission. So max 3 that first semester, or if you want to, I suggest splitting it between 2 semesters just in case something happens. I have folks that are trying to take 5 courses. I do not suggest that, but they have their own graduation deadline that they want to do. And we talk about those issues and we put it out there and we keep it moving. I would say for a graduate level program in the fall and spring, 2 is good, especially if you're working. If you're not working, I would say 3 is exceptional because that is a full-time load at the graduate level, because you're looking to do 6 to 9 hours of work per week per class. And so if you do the math, and you take 3 courses, that's almost actually it's almost 3/4 of a full-time job. And so making sure that you're managing your time with other obligations, that's really going to help you decide how many courses I should take. Some people do exceptionally well. And it's because maybe they do have a little bit more of a foundational knowledge. Maybe they've worked in the field for a little while. Maybe they do have that undergraduate degree in computer science. And so they can handle a little more. If it's new, I would say slow and steady wins the race, until you find your feet. And then we can pick it up. And those are conversations that we can have. You can make an advising appointment with me, and we can just kind of have those conversations and really look at your own experience, and kind of build that plan for you, for how kind of you want to proceed through the program.
I concur. 2 to 3 courses per semester during fall and spring is probably ideal. 1, maybe 2 during summer is ideal.
That's great. And yeah, I know you mentioned earlier a bit about, the program being designed for folks that may or may not have a background in computer science and programming. I can relate to this specifically with being nervous about the math element of it. If somebody is maybe nervous about their math background, is there a typical kind of foundation that you recommend they have before they start?
whatever, again, whatever math, again, you don't need to have a math background per se. Whatever, I mean, assuming you have a high school level math background, I mean, we just kind of assume that, but no college level math is required per se, and any math that is required, mainly discrete math that is used in computer science, that is covered in the CS 602 class. The CS 602 class covers uh, all the math that is needed. And when I say all the math, we are not talking about uh, advanced calculus. We are talking about discrete math and number theory, which is used in security and cryptography. The cryptography class also talks a little bit about the math that is needed, but again, everything that you need is covered in the class. No prior advanced math or math background, I should say, is needed other than just high school math.
Yeah, and that's a good question. I get that question all the time at the front end. And then once folks start the program, I never hear the question again. And so it's pretty good that, and I have a lot of conversations with students, and I always ask about feedback about the courses they're taking. And so there hasn't been anyone that has struggled, and I've been with Ball State for about 2 years, 2.5 years now. I've never had to have a conversation about I'm struggling with math in a course. And so if that's your barrier, don't let it be. Because even if it is, you'll have support in place to help you get through that.
That's great. All right, there's a question here about course waivers and how those relate to the prior learning credits as well. Is someone able to utilize both course waivers and prior learning credit, and how would they go about that?
So Ball State again does offer other options such as portfolio evaluation and a few others, which Jeremy can go into details in a one-on-one conversation. But somebody, let's say, has extensive work experience in a specific field and would like to use that, their resume and their background, to basically say, hey, can I be not excused, but can I get credit for class X, Y, and Z because of my 10 years of work experience specifically in this field? That would basically be a portfolio evaluation. So yes, you can apply for that. The graduate school does look at it. All those applications come to me. I look at again your CV, your work experience. Maybe a committee looks at it if needed, or an expert in that particular field. Again, if it's outside my expertise, I run it by the appropriate faculty member, and you can again get credit. Prior learning credit for that. However, those limits that we have on there in terms of the no more than 9 credit hours. Again, you still have to stay within those stipulations.
Perfect. Okay, there are a couple questions around exams and how they work in the program. Can you share a little bit more of if they are proctored? Do people have to go to a testing center? What can they expect from the exams?
Exams For the exams, you do not have to go to a testing center or to a library or a school or anything like that. You can take it again from wherever you are comfortable at, from the comfort of your home, from a library. Again, you choose the place. So no, you do not have to go to a testing center or a predetermined location where you book a time, and you can take it from wherever as long as you have a secure, strong internet connection. Um, and most exams are not proctored. Again, I cannot speak for all classes. There might be a class in the future where the professor chooses to do again a proctored exam, either using software or using graduate assistance or whatever it may be. But as of right now, most exams are not proctored. You can take them again, that flexible deadline. Someone could take the first exam in week 1, someone could wait until week 7 to take the first exam. So it's completely up to you as to when you want to take it. And again, as of right now, a majority of the exams are not proctored.
Perfect. I'm sure there's some folks that are relieved to hear that. Okay, so this is maybe more of a question for Jeremy about transferring in prior learning credit. For example, and this is one we see a lot, if somebody has completed the Python for Everybody specialization, and they want to register for their first class at Ball State, what would be the process for registering and transferring in that credit?
For sure, great question. And so let's talk about the registration form real quick, because that will help us get to where we need to be. When you log into the registration form initially, you'll create a Ball State account. The registration form is a logic form. And so what that means is it reads your academic record. And so if there's nothing on your academic record, then it's only going to show the courses that you're eligible to take. So that's going to be CS 617, DSCI 605, and any other course that doesn't have a prerequisite. So which gets me to the point of if you need the Python for Everybody credit applied to your account, that's a conversation to have with me. You would set up an appointment with me or send me an email or connect with Katie and she can get in contact with me or forward your email to me. And I can help on the back end set that up. And then once you have your Ball State login and credentials, you would submit a form online through Ball State, attach their certificate, and then it would be applied to your academic record. There is a bit of legwork to it and a little bit of nuance, but a lot of that is a conversation, either face-to-face over the phone or via email, and we can set that up for you.
Great, thank you. Okay, this is a good one too. Back to the open content courses. How is the open content and is it different from the PBA courses? And do people need to do the open content before they start with Ball State?
No, they don't need to. I mean, the open content again is an option if you want to try out a class. However, if you do take the open content and then take the full class, that class, the entire class, can count as one of your 3 PBA classes. Does that answer the question? Right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it does. And so the way I say to folks is, and just as I'm a stories person, so I was meeting with a person and they said that they completed CS 617, but I couldn't find it anywhere. What had happened is they had completed the open content portion of the course. And so just remember, if you do open content, that does not mean you've completed the course. If you haven't paid Ball State tuition and completed all 16 weeks, that means you don't have credit. And so I call it try before you buy. Because if I'm not going to like something, I don't want to pay for it and then have to try to get my money back. And so, though it's about the first module or so, open content. If you haven't done the full course, then open content is great, but you don't have to do it. Once open content, other courses are offered, especially 602. Those are excellent opportunities for you to get ahead, especially if you're going to take one of those courses in the summer. You have that 2 week extra time that you're in there early, as well as that open content that really elongates the time you have to submit those assignments. And so use open content to your advantage to get early access to the course if there's an open content version.
Perfect. Yeah, that is a question that I get a lot too. Is the open content the PBA and how is that different? So yeah, it is an optional thing that's there for you to check out and get a head start on, but totally up to you how much or how little you want to engage with that before you enroll with the university. All right, and Jeremy, this may be one over for you as well. Can you share a little bit more about the degree planning process that you do with students? And are there formal degree plans required, or how do you kind of work with people on scheduling?
So it's really at the discretion of the student. There are students that I've never spoken to. There are students that I speak with for about 10 minutes once a semester. And then there are students that I speak with monthly because that's what they need. And that's definitely okay. That's why I'm here. And so I have a degree Excel document that I send out to students. I call it fancy. It's really not that fancy. It's fancy for my skill level, where you can kind of plot out your courses per the semester that you're going to take it in, and we can go from there. What's really new about Ball State is we've transitioned to this program called Stellic. And so Stellic is an opportunity. It's a curriculum management program where you can kind of place your classes in the semester that you want to take them. I can see it. You can see it. We can get on a Zoom meeting and try to plan that out together. But Stellic is a really great resource for us to use. And it's really, for us visual folks who like to see things, it's really good and conducive for learning and really plotting that out. Other folks, they like a good Excel document and they plot it out, and they're good to go. And so you can set up a phone call with me. You can set up virtual. When it comes to degree planning, I tend to like virtual better because I can share my screen and we can kind of talk through things. But it's really up to your discretion. Just know that, we are on Eastern time. And so if you do make an appointment with me, your appointment will be on Eastern time, even if you're California. So if you make one at, 7 o'clock, that's going to be 4 o'clock your time, AM. And so just make sure that we're cognizant about those time zones. But yeah, my relationship with student, it varies. It can be as deep and as needed as you need it to be, or it can be a simple phone call or email every now and then. And so I really put that in your court. There is a lot of support on my end, and so I can really see I can see your progress in classes. I can't see your individual grades, but I can tell kind of what percentage of the course you have done and what percentage of or what your grade percentage is in that percent. And so I can see the last time you submitted an assignment, the last time you've logged in. And so, especially, that's really helpful for me to have conversations with you all. So, if you haven't logged in maybe 3 weeks, you can expect a call from Jeremy. And so, you can answer that, or you can put me to voicemail. If you don't want to talk to me, I don't want to talk to you. We can still be friends though. And so, I'll leave a voicemail. I'll shoot you an email, and we can call it a day. But I just want to make sure that you know that I'm here as a resource for you. Just as an example, I hadn't heard from someone who lived in Georgia, in the hurricane. I can't remember which one it was. The hurricane came through, and they didn't have power, and so I was really worried about them. And so, just kind of that outreach. If I know something's going on in your part of the country, I'll reach out. But also, that's just not to be in your business. It's to make sure that you're successful. We're spending time, we're spending money. We want to make sure that we're getting you to where you need to go so that you can be successful in all parts of your life.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jeremy. Okay, I think we have one last question here, and this is a good one. Can anybody attend regardless of their location, kind of where they live? Do you have any restrictions on student location?
We do not have restrictions. Just make sure if you are out of the country, make sure there's no restrictions for your education department, ministry, whatever that might be. We have students all over the US, all over the world. Let's see, Japan, China, India, South Africa, several European nations. I don't know if I mentioned Canada, Mexico, Argentina, Brazil, I think. And so we are worldwide, and that really adds to the value of your degree, because you are working with your classmates, whether it's a discussion or in the Slack channel. And so we bring education to everybody, and so we want to make sure that it's affordable, accessible, and high quality.
Fantastic. Well, I think we tackled most of the Q&A questions, so thank you both for thoughtfully answering those. And yeah, again, if you do have any additional follow-up questions, please feel free to reach out to me, and I can help. Either if it's something I can't answer, I can help you get connected to the folks that can as well. But we're here to help, just if there's anything you need clarified.
Absolutely. Thank you all for attending.